So yes, I'm going to talk through workflows. Now, just before I do, what I want to just quickly cover off is Voice Assist, because essentially Voice Assist is the little brother of Workflow Studio. So as you know, Voice Assist has been out for quite a number of months now, and it's kind of basic IVR/auto attendant with some great advanced features built into it. So as you can see here, you have all of your routes available within Voice Assist. Now, just because of the time of year that it's at, coming up to Christmas, a lot of customers will want to change their scheduling over the holiday period. What I just want to quickly remind you of is that, if you do have workflow in here, what you can very simply do is create a new schedule and then administer that through this nice, simple routing interface. So I'm just going to go into a blank route that I have within here. So let's just choose the Adam D one here. And if I was to add in a new schedule, you can manually and very simply and easily configure your scheduling for your Christmas period. So I'll just wait for that to load here. So let's just add in a new schedule, which is under this one here. And as I said, in here you can set up your time zones. You can set that to Sydney or Melbourne, wherever you happen to be, and then you can configure your time of day, start time, end time each day. But to make it even easier for a lot of businesses out there, what they can simply do is tick this box here that says use Google Places. What that will then do is use your Google Places opening times. So here I've got Mitel Melbourne, and as you can see in the Google Places, which is the box on the right-hand side here, what it will do is basically it will use the opening hours that we have in here, which of course you could administer as a company to actually open and close your auto attendant and IVRs in Voice Assist. So you only have in one place to administer it, rather than having to manually change it in here. You actually tick that box and it does it all through Google Places. Now, what I'm going to do here is go across to workflow, but just before I do, I would just want to remind you of the different routes that I have in Voice Assist, because those routes will also be visible in Workflow Studio. So let's just wait for them to load on the screen here. So as you can see, there's lots of routes within here. If I go into Workflow Studio, we call them flows in Workflow Studio. And this allows you to create the same kind of flows and IVR and auto attendance that we saw previously. But what it will do, in fact, it's just timed out on me, so let me just log back in again. Log back in here. So basically, yeah, what it will do is it will allow me to create those flows, but utilize some of the more advanced features. You can see you have the different flows within here. So let's take a look at a couple of the flows that I've got within Workflow and how I've actually used the base Voice Assist, but then added on some additional integrations into here. So we're going to take a look at this dial menu here, and I'm going to take a look at option 1 and option number 2. So option 1 is what I've called my CLI lookup. And basically, when a call comes in, I'm going to set the person's caller ID as a variable. I'm then going to take that caller ID and do a lookup into an external system. Okay, so this could be any system that the customer has. It could be their ordering system. It could be their billing system. It could be a system that tracks deliveries. In this case, I'm actually just getting data back from Salesforce. Okay, so that's the system I'm going to look into. I'm going to get that data back, and then I'm going to set the description. Okay, so whatever the description is in Salesforce for the person who's calling in, I'm going to then play that, and I'm going to say, thanks for calling Mitel, and then we're going to play whatever's in the description in Salesforce for that user. So just to show you what it should play in here, if I just go across to Salesforce here, you can see that here is the contact details for Adam Derb. And you can see that I'm going to dial in from my mobile, and what it will then do is it will read back about my delivery is due for Friday. Okay, so I'm just going to dial into the system now. Let's just go back to the workflow to show you what it's actually going to use. So I'm going to dial into the system, choose option number 1.
Please make a selection. Thanks for calling Mitel. Your delivery of 6940 phones is due for Friday.
Okay, so that's good. Just kind of showing you how you can easily hook into an external system based off the calling on ID and then read back data from that other system like delivery dates, etc. Now, just as to enhance on that a little bit, what I'm doing in option number 2 is I'm actually doing a similar thing. So I'm actually going to set the CLI again, and then going to do a lookup and ask the customer to enter in their postcode. And I'm going to use this postcode api.com.au to find out the suburb that they're in. I'm then going to take that suburb and do a lookup into the AccuWeather API service. So basically take the person's postcode, do a lookup of it, and then play the weather back to them. So this kind of shows how we can, look into a system with changing data. And the reason why we use weather is it's very changeable. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to dial back into that system again. Choose option number 2 this time.
Please make a selection.
There we go.
Please enter your postcode.
And I'm going to put in my postcode here. So 2153.
The weather forecast for Winston Hills is low clouds breaking for some sun and humid. There is a minimum temperature of 20.7 degrees and a maximum temperature of 29 degrees.
So what you can see there is that it hooks into an external system, but it's getting variable data. Okay, and we can actually ask the customer to input a postcode or their customer ID or their order number, and then do a lookup into an external system and play back that data. Now with Workflow Studio, the difference really is that you have a whole heap of different actions and integrations that we've built for you. So here we can see, we have various different AI integrations into Claude. We've got ChatGPT here. We've also got Google Gemini down here. So we have lots of different AI options for you within here. But the one that I'm going to finish up on before I hand over to Max now is our Microsoft Graph integration. Okay, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to dial into a user, okay, extension using their DDI. But what I'm going to do is use Workflow to actually detect that that person's phone is ringing, take that person's phone number, do a lookup into an external system. I'm going to use Salesforce again. As you saw, I've already got that populated with the DID. And then it's going to send that information as a chat in Teams. So here I am logged into Teams as Martin Chuloff. And the chat actually comes from Alex Sorensen, but that could be an administration account rather than a user's account. So if I just dial into Martin's phone now, so the phone is going to start to ring. Okay, and as the phone is ringing, okay, what will happen in Teams is as the call is ringing, you will get a chat come through. And as you can see, it's done a data dip into Salesforce, but that could be any system with customer data, and it's got back the information for that caller. So before I answer the call, I've actually got in Salesforce, in Teams, information about the person who's calling me. And we've even created a button here that allows me to then go and open up that contact directly in Salesforce itself. Okay, so that's really how we can use Workflow to integrate into external systems.